Hello, my name is Tasha Heaton. I am an industrial hygiene consultant with the WisCon program at the Wisconsin State Laboratory of Hygiene. Today, I will be walking you through how to calculate your facility's TRC and DART incidence rates. First, let's define the acronyms, starting with TRC. TRC stands for Total Recordable Cases. It is the rate that represents the total non-fatal injuries and illnesses per 100 full-time employees for a given period of time. DART stands for Days Away, Restricted, or Transferred. It is a rate that represents the total non-fatal injuries and illnesses resulting in days away from work, restricted work activity, and/or job transfer per 100 full-time employees for a given period of time. Both of these rates are typically calculated for 1 or 3 years. Why do these rates matter? Incidence rates are lagging indicators. They can be used to help evaluate your company's safety and health program's performance over the previous years. These rates are lagging indicators because they can only be used to identify problems after they occur. These rates can also be used to compare your company to other companies in your industry. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics Injuries, Illnesses, and Fatalities Program uses injury and illness data sorted by North American Industry Classification Systems, NACE codes, to identify high hazard industries and employers. You can use DART and TRC to determine if your employees are more or less likely to sustain recordable injuries or illnesses than employees at comparable workplaces, and if your employees experience greater or fewer injuries or illnesses resulting in lost work days or work restrictions than employee at similar workplaces. You want to have a copy of the most recent Summary of Work-Related Injuries and Illnesses, also known as OSHA's Form 300A, available when calculating both your TRC and DART. This form should be created at the end of each calendar year using information from the establishment's Log of Work-Related Injuries and Illnesses, or OSHA 300 log. Again, TRC represents the total non-fatal injuries and illnesses per 100 full-time employees over a given period of time in an establishment. But what goes into the formula? A TRC is equal to the number of OSHA recordable injuries and illnesses multiplied by 200,000 and then divided by the total number of hours worked by all employees in the establishment. The number 200,000 represents 100 employees working 40 hours a week for 50 weeks during a calendar year. Using the OSHA Form 300A, add columns H, the total number of cases with days away, column I, total number of cases with job transfer or restriction, and column J, total number of other recordable cases together, then multiply by 200,000 and divide by the total number of hours worked by all employees. The DART calculation is basically the TRC calculation, but it omits column J, the other recordable cases. A DART is equal to the number of OSHA recordable injuries and illnesses that resulted in days away from work, a job restriction or transfer, multiplied by 200,000 and then divided by the total number of hours worked by all employees in the establishment. Using this formula, add columns H and I together, then multiply by 200,000 and divide by the total number of hours worked by all employees. Now for an example. Let's say I own a metal fabrication shop. I have 30 employees who work 64,823 hours last year. Also last year, we had one recordable injury resulting in 2 days away from work, another recordable injury resulting in a job restriction for 2 weeks, and 2 other recordable cases. Column H is equal to 1, column I is equal to 1, and column J is equal to 2. Using the formula, let's calculate our TRC. Column H is equal to 1, column I is equal to 1, and column J is equal to 2. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is equal to 4. 4 times 200,000 is equal to 800,000. And 800,000 divided by 64,823 is 12.34, which means our TRC is 12.34. Using the same metal shop example, let's calculate our DART. Column H is still equal to 1, column I is still equal to 1, and we've omitted column J. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, 2 times 200,000 is equal to 400,000, and 400,000 divided by 64,823 is 6.17, which means our DART is 6.17. Let's compare my metal fabrication shop's incidence rates to the national industry average. Using the summary table 1 from the BLS Survey of Occupational Injuries and Illnesses data for 2019, we can see that the fabricated structural metal manufacturing industry has a TRC of 4.4 and a DART of 2.1. My company, with a TRC of 12.34 and a DART of 6.17, is above the national average, meaning that my employees are more likely to sustain an injury or illness at work, and that those injuries are more likely to result in lost work days, job restriction, or transfer than other employees in the same industry. This has been a brief overview of how to calculate TRC and DART incidence rates, making the assumption that injury and illnesses are being accurately recorded in your establishment. For information on OSHA injury and illness record keeping requirements, please visit osha.gov/record keeping. I would also like to encourage you to schedule a free and confidential consultation